So if you are sitting at your desk and your legs are down, and you can have your feet about a hip's width apart, shoulders aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just put a bit of space in between the spine, just lengthen, and imagine as best as possible, just imagine, you have these Dr. Spock ears. Perhaps someone is, pulling on those ears and very gently gliding your head back in alignment with your shoulders. And just go to the crown of the head and notice, just feel, bring your attention to the crown of the head and notice any sensation there. Relax the forehead. And the eyes. Relax your eyelashes. Relax the nose and the cheeks and the mouth, back of the tongue. Relax the jaw, back of the head. Allow your shoulders to drop down. Shoulder blades. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then be aware of your environment, your soundscape. So try not to follow any sounds with the mind. Just allow the sounds to be there. And then just notice the thoughts that are arising. And allow them to be there. Allow them to just bubble up. To abide, and then just maybe you can sort of even say to yourself on the exhale, release. And then as the thoughts are arising, you can maybe just take a step back and, watch the thoughts arising with a little bit of curiosity, without judgment, without engagement. Just see what's there, developing some awareness about what's in our mind. And just see, what's helpful for you, what serves you, what doesn't serve you. And then bring to mind these beautiful people we have in our life, our loved ones, the ones we really do care about, and we have these very deep and meaningful relationships with. And then there's these people in our life we don't really like so much. And then there's our strangers. And they can all change place at any time. This friend, this one we don't like, this stranger, because all of these relationships, due to this samsaric world we live in, due to this idea of impermanence, our relationships are interchangeable. Regardless of how we feel about any one person at any particular time, all of these people are equal. The same as you and the same as me in their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and having this really extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So we think that we'll, do this meditation for all these people of our life and by extension, all sentient beings. And I know many of you in here, perhaps everyone, has at least one person in their life that they know about who has something going on that's painful, whether it be cancer, some family issues. So maybe we can just motivate for these people, some kind of illness, coming close to the end of their life. So we think, to start with, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering we might experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. So we're not needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power. We're not looking for someone to come along and rescue us. We're purifying ourselves. We're doing the work ourselves by relying upon Vajrasattva's medicine. So this is, in a way, this is like, you could say it's a healing. We're healing ourselves, developing awareness, and then healing ourselves. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also, imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion, and has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so we have this little section here on compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the benefit of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of your mind. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black, and you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So you imagine just as the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and anger and depression, anxieties, resentment, jealousy, are all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Zipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe. So be delighted again. All your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva very happily, very compassionately sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And imagine now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness, wisdom, bliss, and compassion. And then we think about even the negative imprints in the mind. We're purifying these. So Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely, and eradicates even these very, very subtle imprints from our consciousness. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita me bawa situkaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So now feel completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in this purification process. And it's really crucial because, we're not doing anything unless we've decided to. So here we make a determination, a decision to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without making this kind of decision, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination is like becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So first of all, just rejoice in your efforts coming along here tonight. And also rejoice in your past practice. And then think of maybe something you'd like to work on. Maybe it's with a speech. Maybe you have a habit to pick up pens wherever you go. Somehow they're not yours. Or library books that we forget to take back. All this kind of thing. And this determination to not do again gives us this strength. Gives us a bit of guidance. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown, and you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So we think in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's do our chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, if someone has it there. So we do 3 little verses every night. So this way we're following His Holiness's advice. Can we scroll to the verses we haven't done? What's happening?
This is where we ended up. We started, we did 31 was our last one that we did.
Oh, it was? Oh, so it's highlighted.
Yeah,
Oh, it's highlighted from before. Okay, that's all right.
and sorry.
No worries. Okay. Great feast who takes the form of great desire, who vanquishes desire in all forms. He is great carnal lust. He is great bliss. He is great happiness. He is great joy. With great appearance, bearing form supreme, with great complexion, marked by great physique, with great renown, the great munificent one, his mandala voluminous and great, the bearer of the mighty sword of wisdom, the foremost goad for taming great afflictions, possessing great renown, his glory great, his brightness great, his luster most supreme. Okay, thanks, Bill. So let's just dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, is how they say it, And then all of you here probably have your own teachers. So just make a strong wish for them to have a very long life. Okay, everybody. Good night. Nice to see so many of you here. Lots of love. Thanks for hosting, Bill.